Over the past 4 months, around 8,000 people have lost their jobs in the video game industry. And in the past 18 months, over 20,000 employees have been laid off. The UK has been hit particularly hard, with more than 1 in 30 individuals working in video games being affected. Even Sony Studios, the makers of PlayStation hardware, have shut down their physical offices in London, leading to additional layoffs. Much like a Tory government, industry insiders of video games cite the COVID-19 pandemic, gaming publishing delays, and the high cost of living as reasons for the crisis. However, there is a deeper issue at play. Greed is at the heart of the video game industry's turmoil. The video game industry has experienced a steady upward trend for the past 40 years. After the crash of 1983, caused by the poor quality of many home console games, the industry refocused on high-quality video games. Companies like Microsoft and Sony helped limit the number of games produced on their consoles, prioritizing quality over quantity. During the pandemic, the economic value of video games skyrocketed, with sales estimated at around 200 billion. However, this growth is starting to slow down. The Financial Times reported that the video game industry is about to experience its biggest economic slowdown in 30 years due to the inability to sell the necessary hardware. Sony recently cut its sales forecast and is now implementing its own version of austerity measures by reducing its workforce and limiting the number of video games it produces. This is a stark contrast to the recent past, when of course the industry was thriving. Take-Two Interactive, the publisher behind Grand Theft Auto V, is planning to cut around 5% of its workforce, amounting to approximately 579 jobs. This comes despite making a profit of 2.2 billion last year and acquiring another developer, Gearbox. Initially, CEO Strauss Zelnick stated that there were no plans to lay off employees, but the company is doing so to maintain profits while working on the next game, Grand Theft Auto VI. This situation highlights a broader issue in the industry: capitalist greed. Companies like Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Activision, and Microsoft have been known to exploit their workforce and consumers. Developers often face a crunch culture, where they work 12 to 14-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week, leading to severe mental health issues and strained personal lives, including divorce. Moreover, companies like Activision and Ubisoft have faced high-profile cases of sexual harassment, gender discrimination, and bullying. These issues point to a toxic work environment that desperately needs to change. On the consumer side of the spectrum, companies are shifting towards this live service model, continuously monetizing games through content updates and microtransactions. This model often exploits players, charging exorbitant amounts for in-game items. For instance, games like Valorant charge £50 to £100 for a single colour, blue, on a gun. Some games, like Grand Theft Auto V, even include in-game casinos, where players can spend real money on betting. This mirrors gambling practices and exploits consumers, particularly young people who are often playing these games. In June 2020, a UK Select Committee report urged the Department of Digital, Culture, Media and Sport to explore the effects of gambling in video games. However, little progress has been made till now. Microtransactions in games prey on vulnerable players, similar to the gambling industry, and require stricter regulation. Resistance is growing within the video game industry, with workers forming unions to fight against layoffs and the use of AI in video games. Quality assurance workers, often the most abused and least secure jobs, are leading those unionization efforts. Despite legal challenges from companies like Activision, these unions are gaining traction. Social media and smaller game communities are also pushing for change by encouraging consumers to vote with their wallet and avoid pre-ordering games. While this raises awareness, I would argue that broader action is needed. We must support workers' unions and put pressure on companies to remove exploitative microtransactions. Additionally, governments, including the Labour Party, need to enact laws to protect consumers from these practices. Put pressure on the Labour Party, support unions, and that they have a seat at the table for each video game company. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe subscribe to our channel. What are your thoughts on the current state of the video game industry? Subscribe to the newsletter at www.lefthorizons.com, and we will see you next time.